Начать с тобой утро – мой лучший сценарий. Ты будешь во мне меня. С тобой я играю, даже когда играю. И пусть.
Today we're going to talk about the 11 types of alopecia. What does alopecia mean? It comes from a Greek word, alopex, which means fox. And the reason why they talk about a fox is that certain fox get an infection with mites, and they start losing their hair in different places. So that's the origin of now, as I go through this, there's a lot of new words that you may not be familiar with. Just realize there's Greek or Latin words that describe the characteristics of what's happening with your hair. So definitely don't get caught up with the names, just classifications of different types of hair loss. Now, some of these conditions that I'm going to talk about are not really a hair loss. That's a symptom. Is the immune system. And so when someone has an autoimmune condition, certain types of alopecia, you have the body developing antibodies to your own hair follicles, and that creates a loss of hair or some type of thinning with the hair or damage with the hair root, or the hair just doesn't grow. Every type of alopecia have a genetic component. Because there's something called epigenetics, which is above your genes, and so even and then there's a type of alopecia that is caused by too much DHT, which is a very powerful form of testosterone. So I'm definitely going to some type of confusion, and it's attacking alopecia areata can then get worse and become alopecia areatus totalis, which means that you have this total hair loss in the top of your head, which I will get into in a minute, or alopecia areata universalis, which is hair loss throughout the entire body, and the rest of the hair in your body, including your pubic hair and axillary hair, the hair underneath your armpits. And then the next type of alopecia is called diffuse alopecia areata. Sometimes referred to as They use these incredibly long names, maybe to make them sound very, very scientific. So in this diffuse type, instead of having patches of hair loss, you have hairs that are very, very thin. So the hair back here is very, very thin, and it looks like there's some patches. Then you have the next type called alopecia areata. Try to say that 3 times. In this type, you have hair loss on the sides of the head, as well as in the lower back part of your skull. This type is really difficult to treat with medications, so I would go with natural recommendations, which I'm going to get to. The next one is called Alopecia Barbade. This one is a loss of hair either on your mustache or your beard. This version could also occur with other types of hair loss as well, but it's very specific to the next one is called alopecia. Another name for this would be pattern hair loss. Normally hair grows between 3 and 4 hairs. And so in this condition, you're going to see those little patches of hair or little groups of hair start shrinking or atrophying. And so the number of hairs in these little groups is and eventually when they're gone, you're going to see more scalp. And so androgenic alopecia is commonly known as male pattern hair loss, but you also have women pattern hair loss too. And this is the most common cause of hair loss. In fact, 50% of men over the age of 50 have this condition, and 50% of women over the age of 65 start developing this condition. And so in a man, you'll see receding hair loss right through here, and then a loss of hair on the top part of the head. And with women, you'll see more just thinning on the top part of the head. All right, this next one is a very long name, so we're just going to call it Ccca, okay, just to make it really simple. So this type involves scarring on the top of your head. This is most common in women that have an African descent. And adding some vitamin E oil, massaging that into the scalp, can be a great way to scar tissue and also provide more oxygen stimulation to the scalp. But the problem is if you stay too long, the scar tissue could get to the point where it's permanent, it's irreversible. All right, the next one is called frontal fibrosing alopecia. This one involves the sideburns and the frontal part of the head. This mostly involves menopausal females, but it can also affect men as well. So in this, you can see a lot of due to scar tissue. Some people may lose their eyebrows or eyelashes with this condition. The next one is called traction. And this occurs because of strain or stress on the roots. It usually occurs when people have these very tight hairstyles. So you have people who are using braids, dreadlocks, or a ponytail, or even using certain chemical relaxers that can weaken the hair. So this constant traction actually pulls the hair right out of the scalp. And the last one is called chemotherapy-induced alopecia. Unfortunately, the chemicals that used in cancer therapy destroy not just the immune system, they can destroy different parts of your body, including the roots of your hair. But as soon as the chemotherapy is stopped, the hair should come back, given the right nutrition, and the overall health of the immune system. I do want to say one thing about chemotherapy. Anytime someone goes through chemotherapy, it's very, very important for them to also do natural oil to rub into the scalp each night before you go to bed. There are certain properties in rosemary oil that are great for many different types of issues. And the castor oil is good for now, there's a lot of things you can do, onion juice, but there's many different herbal extracts that can help stimulate the growth of hair. But in this list, there are several things I'm going to talk about. One is the rosemary oil. Okay. Number 2 is taking a really good probiotic. Why? Because in many autoimmune conditions, it starts in your gut. Your gut becomes too permeable, it's called leaky gut, and you have the entire immune system right behind the barrier, and certain things get in there, and you start creating all sorts of issues with immune loss. So, a probiotic is very important, especially if you have a history of gut problems that occurred just before you start developing this hair issue. I always recommend, to get a clue on what's causing your hair loss, is just to look back in time and find out what occurred just before you started to develop this condition. And it could be any condition, any body problem. There's always something right before this that triggered it. It could be a severe stress, like a loss of a loved one, which, by the way, is behind a lot of autoimmune diseases. So this gives you information to help you try to undo some of the damage based on what caused it. If there was a stress trigger, then you can work on doing all sorts of things to improve stress, both food-wise, environmentally, and certain supplements. All right, number 3, zinc is essential if you have any immune issues at all. Number 4, vitamin D and zinc for any immune problems is very, very important. Vitamin D is an immune modulator. It is the best remedy for any autoimmune condition. I've done a lot of videos on this, and I would recommend taking nothing less than 10,000 IUs, but probably 20 or 30,000 IUs of vitamin D every single day. The next one is using an infrared treatment on your scalp. There's a lot of new devices coming out that are like little helmets that you put over your head. The infrared spectrum of light energy is really good to help reduce androgenic type problems with the hair. Because what's happening is we have this enzyme that's converting more free testosterone to DHT, which is a very powerful form of testosterone, and that's burning your hair out. And so anything that you can do to interfere with that process is a good thing. And there's a lot of herbal things you can take too, like sulfur, stinging nettle roots. But the infrared light on your scalp has been shown to create some significant improvement in your hair. So next one is fasting. You need to be doing intermittent fasting, okay? And definitely periodic prolonged fasting. Fasting for autoimmune conditions, drop inflammation, for any genetic problems or weaknesses is dynamite as far as the effectiveness in helping you put this thing back in remission. Because we can never say cure, we can say put it back in remission. Fasting is probably one of the most powerful epigenetic things you can do, especially if you have a genetic predisposition to any condition. All right, and the last thing is reducing your stress. I've already mentioned that, but there are many, many things you can do to pull yourself out of this stress state. I'm talking about a chronic stress situation where you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. It could be either environmental, where you're in an environment where there's a lot of stress, or you had a severe loss. There are many things you can do. In fact, I want to put up probably one of the most important videos I've done on stress right here. So check that out.
Золото Магеллана — лишь легенда. Вот тут ты не прав. Делим все поровну, так? Что? 10% и оцени мою щедрость. Да уж.
Ты сам не знаешь, с кем связался.
Надо найти парашюты. Зачем? Как еще сойти с летящего самолета? О, черт! Да ладно! Как они вытащат их отсюда?
Uncharted на картах не значится.
Что это такое у тебя на лице? Зрелость не за горами, у тебя тоже вырастут.
Уже в кино.
Жизнь никогда не дает готовых решений. Она просто открывает бесконечное множество возможностей.
It's Monday, the 14th of February. Now, sooner or later, we're going to have to change strategies and go for natural immunity. We can't keep vaccinating people all the time. Sooner or later, the question is, when is that? And this is a question that hasn't really been addressed by mainstream media. And it doesn't seem to have been addressed by government agencies very much either as of now. So what I'm going to do today, and it's a fairly academic talk today, I'm going to give a lot of evidence that points out how efficient and effectively natural immunity works. So when someone's exposed to the virus, that's when they're exposed to the...
говорю, понимаешь? То есть это... Потому что это нормально. Что профессия это круто, понимаешь? Да. Что это кайф, это весело, понимаешь? Да, значит ты не умеешь правильно делать, ну, профессия там, неважно, специально. Ну пошел нахер с своей химией, надоел уже просто. Деваться даже некуда, понимаешь? Ну тогда руководствуйся страхом тогда. Надоел уже сумасшедший, блин. Что ты врешь там? Врать-то ведь даже негде, как так врать-то можно, если негде врать? Мне только, значит, у меня круто все. Да.